All right, so we in here. I'm the Shock Shit, of course, and this is Trump and the global economy, Trump and the G for short. We're the top podcast in the country apparently, and people are taking exception to some of our content. We did a show on Charlie Kirk, who was unfortunately shot at Utah University last week by a 22-year-old college age kid, shot in broad daylight. It was horrific. And I don't know Charlie Kirk that well, but I understand that he has a huge following. He's a big supporter of President Trump. He's helped the president reach grassroots audience he may not have been able to reach on his own. So he's has ties to the Trump administration. He has a relationship with Trump. He also has a relationship with Vice President J.D. Vance, and they're having a memorial for him, I guess, sometime this week. So apparently he was shot for some of his political views, some of his conservative political views, and may have even been shot because of his close proximity to the president. And so some people have taken exception to our coverage on Charlie Kirk, and one person, the unknown liberal here, has particularly taken exceptions to our coverage about Charlie Kirk, and he has something to say. So what do you want? What do you want to say, sir? What do you want to tell us about Charlie Kirk and all of the media coverage he's gotten, which I think is well deserved, but apparently you feel maybe differently.
Yes, supposed you in the school, and the only thing you did was came out with a little speech and swept the rest of us under the rug. On the account of this president we have, who is leading this stuff the wrong way. He don't give a damn about nobody but himself and his race. Even his son. Come on, man. Look at here. This whole regime. But this is what this man trying to do. He's trying to be a dictator. Tell everybody, I don't care what color you are, but this is the deal. If you're poor, protesting don't have a bit. Because he has to stop doing what he want to do because our congressmen and senators want to do. Okay? He goes around, and anybody who says something against him, he try to get rid of us. And you have a whole nuts and a beautiful piece of yes. Militaries, he was he was killed, trying to storm the kill, and you don't give them. If you give them, don't amount to $1 million.
Okay, you mind if I speak, sir?
Well, if you got something you want to say,
since it's my it's my show, so I guess I do have something to say. I guess that's a lot of incendiary rhetoric there, sir. A lot of incendiary. Okay, not to unpack. But I'm trying to write down what you were saying. I got carpal tunnel syndrome. You were saying so much, but and so sir, I'm the moderator. You mind if I take the mic for a second? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as I was saying before, you're not gonna cut me off again, are you? As I was saying before you interrupted me rudely, may I add? That there's a lot to unpack. As far as Charlie Kirk is concerned, he campaigned hard for the president. He helped the president reach an audience that he couldn't reach voters that he couldn't reach because he had a huge following, especially amongst college-age kids and amongst grassroots voters. He did a lot of promoting or campaigning on social media, particularly TikTok, which Trump is on TikTok. It's funny that he had a ruling on TikTok today about I didn't look at it, but whether it can stay in the U.S. or not, can still be marketed in the U.S. But President Trump used social media. He used TikTok. He used young people who could reach young voters. He used a lot of streamers who could reach young voters. And he eschewed traditional media coverage like ABC, NBC, the legacy media, and went for young people. He's also giving people a voice at the White House, letting bloggers and alternative media people ask questions at the White House. So he's opening it up to everybody. And Charlie Kirk was a big part. No, I mean he's opening up to people who like people who have blogs and podcasts, not just people on ABC or NBC or CBS. Like alternative media, shall we say? I didn't count black or white, but
this is my word to the world and him. You went up there, woofing with what you was gonna do, and you come over here and you have anything to do with it. I try to be a leader of a free world.
Okay.
Say you got something to say?
I just want to get back to Charlie Kirk. I just want to get back to.
He ain't running this country. He was going on down there. That's why they shot him.
Okay, you mind if I, sir? You mind if I you raised the issue about Charlie Kirk? I just want to close that loop. That's all. Okay, so you said that yeah, so it's only natural that it's appropriate the president and the vice president had a relationship with Charlie Kirk, who helped him campaign for president, to have a memorial for him. It's only natural for him to do that. They have a relationship with the family, and this was a political assassination. This cannot be allowed in this country, and we have to send a message to people who this unnecessary violence. Just go up on a rooftop and shoot somebody because you don't like his political views, or maybe even if he has some close ties, proximity to the president. This cannot be allowed. We already had the president shot at right before he ran for when he was campaigning out in Pennsylvania. This cannot be allowed in a civilized. Sir, let me finish. This cannot be allowed in a civilized society. You raised the issue about people being shot in I guess a school. That's abhorrent. If you want to have a memorial for them, you're more than happy to do so. But this is a flashpoint, just like George Floyd was a flashpoint. The week George Floyd died, there were lots of black folks died that same week. There was no memorial for those people either. And they burned down a whole city. Nobody's burning down cities on behalf of Charlie Kirk, but they burned down a whole city on behalf of George Floyd. George Floyd was a flashpoint. People wanted to protest, which they did, which they're right. That's my point. So I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between when people protested for George Floyd. Did you complain about that? Did people died the same week George Floyd died? Did you complain about people protesting for George Floyd? No, I'm just saying it seemed like it's one. Thank you for your service.
Taking everything. You know who that is?
I'm
this
sure.
sorry ass president.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can see because the truth he wouldn't have been.
So do you have a problem with people with presidents or politicians who didn't weren't in the military? You just have a problem with Trump. Which one is it? Which one is? Did you raise that same issue with Obama? Did Obama serve in the military?
Yes, because they was.
Do you have a problem? I'm asking. Do you have a problem with Trump? Or do you have a problem with people who didn't put on the military? Because Obama wasn't in the military either. Let me finish, sir. Sir, did you have a problem with Obama wasn't in the military? Did you raise the issue about him? Okay. So all right. So just to address that point right here, I think you're talking the Charles Q. Brown. That's the guy you're talking about, the black Joint Chiefs of Staff. Okay, so he supported this protest. He supported Black Lives Matter after those George Floyd protests. Let me finish. It's clear you don't. I got it. Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief. Period. Whether we like it or not. And he was voted in office by the American people. He won the popular vote this time. So you can't say he's not a legitimate president. So he supported Black Lives Matter during the George Floyd protest. That's one of the reasons Trump. That's seemed to be one of the reasons Trump fired him. And not only that. Let me finish. Not only that. It's my show. I think I can take it as long as I want, sir. Let me finish. I'm just telling you why he fired him. Okay, let me finish. When Trump, before Trump came president, he said this cannot be allowed. These people burn down entire cities. They almost burned in the state of Minnesota. And Black Lives Matter is now a legitimate organization. They're running around raising money on causes they're not even involved in. And they raised $90 million. None of it went to the families who were hurt or killed or whatever. None of the money went to the families. They just run around raising money. And not only that, Trump announced today he's going to put an end to these paid protesters who were funded by George Soros and these Democratic operatives. These are paid protesters running around the country, creating mayhem, destroying property. He's going to put an end to it. Who's doing what? Congressman and senators doing. Okay, that's beside the point. I'm talking about as far as these paid protesters. He says he's going to put an end to it. They're being funded by George Soros and other political operatives. That's why he fired. That's why he fired Charles Q. Brown, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And then let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay, no, and during his first term, he's fired 75 people. Two were black. About 70, he fired or like 75 people resigned or were relieved of their duties in key positions, and white, and 73 were white and two were black. You're making this case. You're making a case. I don't, but you're making a case that he's firing people. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm like, hold on, sorry. You're making a case that he's fired this guy because he's black. He got rid of 75 people his first term. 73 people were white, two were black. You fired Bolden. John Bolden wrote a book. He had the FBI investigate this guy, saying he was passing along sensitive information to people who didn't deserve the information, family members and other people. Had the FBI investigate this guy. He's white. I didn't say he did. I'm saying he fired him because he was associated with this. You're making a case that he's doing it because he's black. So you can fire him because he's black. That's the case you're making, but you don't have any evidence of that. You raised the issue about this guy. He's the commander in chief. He fired him. He's the commander in chief. He fired him. You make a case because he's black. This is what you all on your say so. All on your say so. All on your say so. Right. As far as the lady in the Coast Guard, Trump was saying that she was too focused on DEI. He's also tamping down DEI initiatives. He's tamping down DEI initiatives around the country, not just the Coast Guard. That wasn't coming from. Excuse me, sir. That didn't come from Donald Trump. It did not. It came from residents of Springfield, Ohio. The residents were saying, "No, excuse me, sir. No. It came from the residents. It came from the residents of Springfield, Ohio. They were on the ground. That's what they were saying. The corporate media tried to. Let me finish. 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 It came from the residents. Let me finish. It came from the residents of Springfield, Ohio. That's what they were saying. And the corporate media tried to debunk it. The corporate media wasn't there. He stood up for regular people, regular U.S. citizens who were making these claims. Trump is coming from regular citizens who were making these claims. Didn't come from. I wasn't there. You weren't there. But the people of Springfield, Ohio, were there. I didn't say they were black. I didn't say they were black. I said he stood up for regular citizens. I didn't say they were black. Regular citizens were saying they were eating cats and dogs. If they weren't, it, yeah. There's a lot of like these. That's the problem with you have Trump derangement syndrome. That's the problem with these left leaning people. You can't win an argument, so then you make ad hominem attacks. You make personal attacks. You call Trump a dictator. You call him a liar, and then you make your comments about me. When you can't win an argument, you get flustered. You start. Let me finish. Let me finish. That's what's called. That's why it's. Sir, 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 sir. You not sir. You not come on here and regulate anything of mine. I'm telling you now. This is Trump and G. It's my platform. I'm talking. I got the microphone. I'm being respectful. I could drag. I'm being respectful. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Trump, this is coming from people in Springfield, Ohio. You got a problem with that? Take it up with them. The odds of like 20, 30 people making the same claims and they all lying. Get out of here. Yeah, apparently he got elected twice. He got elected. Let me finish. Let me finish. He got elected. Donald Trump got elected twice as president. And just so you know, well, just so you know, this populist movements are going around the world. Just so you know, not just let me finish. Let me finish. Not just the U.S. Only thing that that left leaning people have are ad hominem attacks. That's all you have. Even. Let me finish. Let me finish, sir. Let me finish. 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 Nigel Lafarge and rather Nigel Lafarge in the UK. That's why the EU left. That's why the UK left the EU. The rise of Beppe Grillo in Italy. The rise of Marine Le Pen in France. Now, France talking about leaving the EU. All these policies, these policies that after the financial crisis, people is printing money and giving it to their donors. They ain't working. It's populist movements around the world. When it's a populist movement in the United States, you cry racism. And they prey on the ignorance of black folks. The corporate media preys on the ignorance of black folks and put a battery in your back to get you talking all out of turn and don't know what you're talking about. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. That's why you came here. That's why you listen to Trump and G so you can find out what's really going on. Because you can't watch the corporate media. You can't listen to the corporate media. Are they going to tell you about racism? He wants to be a dictator, and he wants to be a fascist. But let me finish. This rhetoric, this rhetoric, they're gonna tamp down this rhetoric. All this ad hominem attacks because you don't have a policy. That's your problem. What black governor he fired? What black governor he fired? What black governor he fired? Oh, you talking? Oh, Federal Reserve? Yeah, Lisa Cook. That didn't come from Donald Trump. It came from a tip. It was a tip. It was a tip. It came from the person that hated the housing, Pulte. He said she committed mortgage fraud. Trump ain't doing all this. That's why it's called Trump derangement syndrome. And somebody obviously tipped them off. That's why it's called Trump derangement syndrome. Trump ain't running around looking at nobody's mortgages from 30 years ago.
He's a racist. That you say something against him, he's gonna come after you with whatever he can. If he has to fabricate a lie, get people to look at you, he'll do it. He's a nasty, sorry ass president. Okay? And you can write that in your book. You can take it on.
I don't know. Anyway, sir, I would ask you, sir, hold on, let me finish. I'm responding to that. That's the problem with the Democrats. All you have are these far left-leaning people. All you have are ad hominem attack. All you can do is attack people personally. You've attacked me 15 times on here. I haven't done anything to anybody. I never even jaywalked before. You call the man racist. You call the man this, that, and the other. Well, what's your alternative to Trump then? So he shouldn't be the president. Who should be the president? And tell me. I'm curious. And tell me what the other party did for you too. Exactly. That's why it's called Trump. Sir. I'm trying to help you. These ad hominem attacks ain't help. These ad hominem attacks ain't working no more. You got to come up with a policy. You have to have an alternative. Resist Trump. We Trump this. Trump a racist. It ain't working no more. It ain't working for you, sir. You didn't hear me say it at all. But apparently he's better than Joe Biden because Kamala Harris has confirmed it. She said it was a mistake for Joe Biden to even run for re-election. So she confirmed that Kamala Harris even confirmed that Donald Trump is better than Joe Biden. It was a mistake for him to run for re-election. It's coming from her own mouth. He had no business running for re-election. It was a mistake. If you got some alternative, I'm open. If you got an alternative to Trump, I'm open. What's your alternative to Trump? You keep talking about Trump this, Trump that. What's your alternative? Joe Biden? Exactly. You have no alternative. You have no alternative. None. You have no alternative. You can't give me one argument why he should be the president. He's the president of the United States. That's the reality. Whether you like it or not, the American people voted for him. Okay. Anyway, what else you want to talk about, sir? What else you want to say? What else you want to say?
Every damn thing else going up, sir. Give them the same amount of money you giving them.
What was all this rah-rah when Biden was the president? What was all this rah-rah then? What was that then? I'm curious. It seemed like you seem like you have an issue with Trump. What was all this energy for didn't deserve a raise when Biden was in office? Trump only been in office for 6-7 months. Another attack on me. Okay. That's all you got, personal attack. You get when you can't win an argument, then you resort to personal attack. When you can't win an argument, you revert to personal attacks. I asked you a question. You want to answer the question. I asked you a question. Ask you a specific question. Ask you a question. Where was all this energy when Biden was in office? Tell me. Exactly. You won't answer the question. You can't answer the question. You can't win an argument. That's when you start. Simple question, sir. Where was all the energy when Biden was in office? You're making my point. You're making my point. You're making my point. That's how violent these leftist people are. They can't win an argument. They want to revert to violence. That's not the point. I'm not arguing that point, but that's not the point. He's the leader of the free world, sir. What else do you want? What else do you want to talk about, sir? What else do you want to get off your chest? Because you clearly had Trump derangement syndrome. Have you seen a doctor for this? And taking what these people and the soldier, that's what I got. Okay. Thank you for your service. Thank you. That's Trump in the global economy. Thank you.